you to close your eyes and picture this. The year is 3000 BC. You're standing in the middle of a forest, and you have a horrid fever, and it just won't leave. You don't have paracetamol, you don't have antibiotics. But what you do have is a healer handing you a piece of bark and telling you this will help. And the weird thing is sometimes it did. You can open your eyes. But, that moment, a human placing their trust in nature, is the beginning of the story I want to tell you today. It's placing their trust in knowledge passed down through generations, from ancient shaman to modern chemist, from crushed leaves to blister packs, from intuition to evidence. This is the story of ancient remedies to the modern pill. Long before labs, medicine lived in memory. Healers learned through trial, error, and oral tradition. They watched, they experimented, and they noted down what worked, and most importantly, what didn't. They saw that willow bark helped ease pain, that poppy sap cured suffering, that cinchona bark cured fevers. These weren't random guesses. These were early pharmacology, observational, empirical, and deeply human. But there was a problem: no standardization. One healer's bark could save you, another's could poison you. Nature was powerful, but unpredictable. And for thousands of years, that unpredictability was just part of the deal. Fast forward to the 19th century, scientists begin to ask a new question. What exactly inside these plants is doing the healing? For the first time, scientists were beginning to isolate the active compounds inside these plants. Willow bark became salicylic acid, poppy sap became morphine, cinchona bark became quinine. For the first time, medicine became measurable, purifiable, dosable. And this was the birth of the modern pill, not just as a medical invention, but as a philosophical shift. A shift from trusting nature to understanding it. From this seems to help to this works and here's why. From variability to control. Control over dose, control over purity, and control over safety. The pill became a symbol of something deeper, the idea that healing can be predictable. We like to imagine modern drugs, or modern pharmacology, as a clean break from tradition. It isn't. More than 50% of modern drugs come from natural origins. Aspirin came from willow bark. Artemisinin came from Chinese wormwood. And paxlovid came from the Pacific yew tree. Ancient remedies weren't primitive, they were prototypes, and the modern pill is just the refined, stabilized, evidence-tested versions. These are just versions of the same human instinct. Find something that works and make it better. There's a quiet danger underneath all of this innovation, though. We're losing... sorry. The real question isn't herbal versus pharmaceutical, but what do we count as medicine? We often draw a hard line between natural and synthetic, but that line is really blurry. A plant extract with 200 compounds is considered natural, but a purified molecule from that same plant is considered modern. But both come from the same leaf. So the real debate isn't about nature, it's about evidence. Does it work? Is it safe? Can we reproduce it? Can we test it? Can we trust it? Medicine isn't defined by where it comes from, it's defined by what it does. Today, researchers are returning to traditional remedies with new tools. AI models are scanning plant libraries for new compounds. Genomic sequencing reveals how plants develop their chemical defenses. Indigenous knowledge is helping guide us by cross-fitting biodiverse regions. And synthetic biology is recreating compounds we already know without destroying our ecosystems. But there's a quiet danger underneath all of this innovation. We're losing the very biodiversity that makes these discoveries possible. Every species that disappears takes with it a unique chemical library, molecules shaped by millions of years of evolution, many of which we've never studied, named, or even noticed. A plant that could have held the next anti-malarial, antibiotic, even anti-cancer compound might vanish before we even learned it ever existed. The next blockbuster drug may not come from a lab. It may come from a rainforest or a coral reef. Or a plant whose knowledge has been overlooked or a plant from a community whose knowledge has been overlooked for centuries. But only if those ecosystems and the culture that steward them survive long enough to be heard. The future of medicine isn't a pill or a plant, it's a partnership between science and nature, between innovation and conservation, between modern tools and ancient remedies. Lose biodiversity and we lose possibilities. Protect it and the future of medicine expands. When we look at the modern pill, we see science, precision and progress. But behind this pill is a lineage stretching thousands of years, to healers, explorers, experimenters and storytellers. The truth is simple. Ancient remedies and the modern pill aren't opposites. They're just parts of the same story. A story of learning how to heal ourselves, and that story is still going on.